Hello, this is Kent, and welcome to my class. Today I'm going to introduce you a very interesting software called Maya. Maya is a 3D animation software which is widely being used in game industry, movie industry, and also architecture industry. With Maya, you can make very interesting CG animation and also create very beautiful CG images. And I am using my 2023 right now. Okay, so when you open Maya, you will see this. This is the first view that you see in Maya. Okay, of course you can just click this button, the blue button to go to Maya. You can go to the Maya interface right away. And also you can click this button here to turn off show home screen on start every time. So next time when you start Maya, you won't see this screen anymore. Okay, let's go to Maya. This is the interface of Maya, and I'm going to introduce you each of them. Okay. So this area is called the viewport. Also, it's called work area. This is where you operate your model, you modeling, you do animation and do something, twist your works here. So this is called work area. And there are 4 colors in work area's background. You can switch the background color with holding Alt and B. Okay? You can loop the color by keep pressing the buttons. So for example, the background color, there are black, gray, the light gray, and a ramp color. By default, it's ramp color, I think, but for me, I prefer a light gray like this. Okay, so I'll start from here. Okay, and this grid, you can just call it grid. This is a tool that allows you to know where you are in this 3D space, and there are 3 dimensions: the X, Y, Z dimensions. That's why it's called 3D, 3 dimensions. Okay, so this is work area. Then we see the outliner window here. This is the outliner window. Outliner window is a chart that shows every node in Maya that you are using right now. And this is a very useful window, which we'll use a lot in the future. And over here is called Toolbox. Toolbox contains a lot of very useful tools here, like selection tool, like move, rotate, and scale tool. But I won't click the button here because it's so time consuming. I will use shortcuts and I will show you later. Okay, so let's just keep the toolbox here. Okay, and we'll press hotkeys to switch that. Okay. Under here, the 4 buttons that allows you to change the interface. Okay, the layout of interface. Okay, I seldomly use this 2. Usually I use the first one and the second one, but also I use hotkeys. I don't just click the button here. Alright, so we just turn off the outline window. So if you want to see it again, well, I think it's here, outline window. But how about let's just click this one to change to the default view. Okay, here, the default interface. And also, if you want to see what button I pressed, okay, I have a hint over here. So every time I click a button, you may see what I clicked. Okay, I think that make it easier to let you understand what I'm doing right now. All right, to the right, there are three tapes. Okay, and okay, if you have something in the scene, for example, let's create a sphere here. Then you select the sphere. Okay, the first tab is called channel box. Okay, remember this term, channel box. This is a very important term. Under channel box, it shows a lot of very basic important properties of the model you selected. For example, the translate, the rotation, and the scale properties of this model, and also the visibility. Okay. But if you want to know more about the attribute of this object, there's another window that allows you to check it, but I will show you later. Okay, let's finish this part first. So that's the channel box. And secondly, that's the attribute editor. Okay, that's the window that I just talked about. You can see more properties of this model. So you can click the second tab, the attribute editor. But also there's another shortcut for this. You just select object and put Control A. It will also show you the attribute editor. Okay, the attribute editor is a very important window that you should use a lot. Okay, then we have modeling toolkit. Okay, this is a very useful toolkit that allows you to save you a lot of time when you modeling. There's also a quick button here. You can turn on and turn off the toolkits from here. Okay, that's the three tabs. Very important three tabs here. Let's go back to channel box first. Okay, under here, there are layers window. Actually, there are three different types of layers in Maya. The display layer, animation layer, and another one's called rendering layer. But by default, it's hidden. Okay, and when we do modeling, the most interface that we'll use is display layer. Okay. So the layer window that allows you to put models into different layers and turn on or turn off their visibility, or even you can lock it. For example, if I select this sphere, I click this button, I put it into a new layer, and by pressing the V button here, you can turn on and turn off the visibility. And if you click the button here, you locked it. It changed it into template mode, which you can just only see the wireframe on the model. You can see the rendering on it. Okay. It make it easier to look through this object and see something behind it. Okay. And also it has the reference mode. Under reference mode, you can just see the model, but you can select it. You cannot select it. Okay, you can just select the models which is not under this layer. Okay, then you can also put other models, put them into the layer, but I won't do it right now. I'll just show you the idea. Okay, we can delete the layer by right-click the mouse and select delete layer. Okay. And there's no more layer over there. Okay. All right. So here is called timeline, and the range slider. Okay. And this is the interface that when you're doing animation. Okay. But right now I can just turn it off. So I have bigger interface, a bigger work area for me for modeling. Okay, So how to turn it off? Well, you can go to Windows, UI Elements, and you can turn off time slider and range slider. Let's turn off time slider first. Okay, there's no more time slider. And then we turn off range slider. Okay, and it make us more space for modeling. Okay. Over here, there's an interface called shelf. Shelf is like in the bookstore, we have a category of different types of books. For example, the sci-fi novels, or the magazines, or some food recipes, something like that. Okay, they clarify different type of books into different shelf. So under Maya, it's the same idea. They clarify different functions under different shelves. For example, if you want to use poly modeling, then you have to go to the poly modeling shelf and find more icons here. And each icon is just like a shortcut that allows you to create something very fast. For example, if I want to create a cube, then I just click cube. Then I have a cube in the center of the space here. I can scale it, move it, rotate it. Okay. So this is the icon. And if I go to the NURB shelf, I can also create a NURB cylinder. They are different. Okay. Or if I want to use animation tools, I'll go to animation shelf. Or if I want to do rendering, I go to rendering shelf. There's one shelf, there's nothing inside here. It's called custom shelf. That's for you. If you have something that you usually you use a lot, you can put it into the custom shelf for yourself. Okay. Oh, by the way, there are different modes under Maya because there are too much functions in Maya. So the Autodesk have to clarify different functions under different modes. Okay. There's the modeling mode, rigging mode, animation mode, special effect mode, and the rendering mode. Also, you can customize your own mode. Modeling mode is the mode you can model your characters, your props, your scene here, and also you can texture it. Rigging mode, which allows you to do the skeletons, riggings, some constraints functions. That's what you do under rigging mode. And the animation mode, of course, you do a lot of animation performers under this mode. And if you need some special effect, for example, clothes or sparkles or fire, smoke, something like that, you go to FX mode, and there are a lot of functions for you to play with. And finally, if you want to render your scene and output it to another software code, maybe After Effects, to do more works, then you go to rendering to render your scene, render your cut out into sequence images or into video format. Okay. So let's go back to modeling mode. Okay, and you'll notice that the menus also changes with modes. See that? If I change different modes, some menu changes, but some menu still stay on the screen. They are called basic menu. I think is let me check. Okay, the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The first 7 menu, they always stay on the screen no matter you change the modes. But those menus behind it, they change with different modes. Okay, So, which means it contains more commands, more functions for you to use. Okay. Over here, there are some buttons. I believe you are very familiar with when you use other software. You also use the create new thing. Okay, open thing, open the old file. Oh, by the way, in Maya we call file a scene file. Okay, it's a scene, SCENE. Okay, this is how we call Maya file. So here you can create a new scene, a blank new scene. Okay, or you can open the old scene, and you can save the scene, save what you did right now. Okay, save file, and the undo and redo button here. Okay, undo and redo button is very important functions that you have to remember. Okay, usually undo button we use Ctrl Z to undo something we just did before. For example, I move this sphere up, but I want to undo it. I just press Ctrl Z. That will undo what I did. Okay, it's also this button here, but I don't click this button. I just hit the shortcut. But if you think, well, I still want that move, okay, you can redo the steps you just did by pressing Shift Z. Okay, so it goes back to where it was. Shift Z is redo. So Ctrl Z, undo. Shift Z, redo. That's the two buttons here, what they did. Okay, and you can change different selection mode here by pressing the button here, but I usually use hotkeys, FX. Okay, and I will talk about this in the future. Don't worry about it. I'm just introduce you the interface right now, so I'm not going that deep. Okay. Here, some snap functions. Snap functions allow you to move things more precisely. For example, if I turn on a snap to grid and I move this sphere, okay, you find out that sphere moved it in a very strange way. It always snapped on the grid, but it allows you to very precisely put the sphere under maybe in the basic point, the center point here. Okay, that's the snap function. But sometimes you find it out that they're very annoying, especially when you want to move object, move the object somewhere you want it be, but it always snap to different place. Then you can turn off the functions by turn off here, the button here. Also, they come with different shortcuts. So I don't push button here, I just use shortcut. Okay. And here, the rendering windows. For example, the render view, okay, allows you to preview what you rendered, the results you rendered. Okay, you can also click here, go to the render view. Okay, this is called render the current frame, and this is the render view. Okay, and here the IPR render view. IPR is a very useful function that can update what you changed under the material properties or lightings. Then it updates the render result for you with IPR window. And here, this is the render settings. Okay, you can change different render engines. By default, it uses Arnold rendered for Maya 2023. And here is also a render engine called Maya Software, which is a very old render engine. I think it starts from since Maya. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the first version of Maya, we have this software renders engine, but I think it's still useful for some case. So that's why they still keep it. Okay, but in most of times you want to use Arnold render. Okay, and of course different render engines contain different settings. Okay, there are a lot of complex settings, and we'll talk about it maybe in the future. Okay, so let's turn off the windows here. Well, I think that's it for the introduction for interface of Maya. Okay, and I'll show you more operating functions later in the future. Okay, I will talk about some basic functions in Maya. But before that, I would like to change the preference, so it will make me easier to do stuffs. Okay, first, I don't like the interface docking into another interface. I want to turn off these functions because this is, to me, it's very annoying. For example, undocking is the functions that allows you to pull the window out of the interface. For example, if you move your cursor to the upper right, upper left of this window, the outline window, and you press left button and drag it out. Okay, you can drag the window out into the work area here. Again, it becomes a floating window, and you can put anywhere on the screen. But if you move that window in to somewhere that allows you to dock into the interface again, for example here, accidentally, then if you release the left button, it will dock into the interface in the right. Okay, and sometimes it's to me it's very annoying, and I don't like it. Okay, because sometimes I will put the windows away and do something here, and I focused on my modeling, but it just stick into another window by accident. Okay, and that will stop my operation. That will stop my work right away, and I don't like it. So I want to turn it off. And also, I also want the attribute editor to be a floating window. So I dragged it out from the 3 tabs here. Okay, just drag it out. So I close the window, and next time when I open the window, it will still keep the pop out the floating window mode, and which is good for me. For example, let me just create a model here, and if I want to show the attribute editor, I select the model, and I push Control A. Control A. You can see I have a shortcut menu showing here, so you can see what I did. Okay, Control A to show the attribute editor and see more properties of this model. Okay, that's the attribute editor. Is a floating window right now. Okay, and if I want to see the outliner, I just go to Window Outliner, and I click it. Okay, I got a floating window, the outliner floating window. And now I want to turn off the docking functions. I want to turn off the docking function. Let's go to Window, Workspace, and they go all the way down to here. Okay, there is a command called disable docking and undocking. Let's check it. Now we turn off this function, so the window will no longer stick into another interface right now. Okay, for example, let's open Outliner again. Okay, It will no longer stick into the interface. Okay. Oh. But it still can pull. Oh no, you can't pull other interface out of where it is right now either. Okay, so they are locked. Okay, unless you turn it off again, turn the docking undocking again, turn off it again, and then you can move them out. Okay. All right. So let me show you how to move object. Let's go to poly modeling shelf, and let's just create a cube, a polycube, by pressing the button here. Okay, we have a cube, but the cube is a very small cube, and I want it to be bigger. So I want to scale it up. How to scale it up? Okay, you can press R for scaling, and you can see 4 different cubes. The 4 operating here are the 4 different operating handles here, which stand for 3 different dimensions. And in the center here, we got a yellow cube, which allows you to proportional scale it. How to call it? Proportionally. Okay. Or you can scale it along y-axis or along x-axis, along z-axis only. Okay. So usually I press the center cube to scale it proportionally. Okay. And if you want to move that cube, you press W. That's the hotkey for move. Now you see 3 different arrows. Okay. And each color stands for different dimensions. And please remember the meaning of the color, because you will see the color, the dimensions in every 3D software, and this is like a common sense for 3D software to use color refer to dimensions. And usually blue stands for Z axis. Yes, okay, blue stands for Z axis, and red color stands for X axis. Then y-axis, they use green color to stand for y-axis. Okay, and if you click the arrow here, you will activate that axis, and it turns into yellow. Okay, then you left mouse drag the arrow to move the object along that axis. So if I drag the red axis, it moves along the red axis. Okay, if I drag the blue one, then I move the cube along Z axis. If I press the square in the center here, I move 3 dimensions at the same time. You can see here the trans X, Y, Z, the properties changes at the same time. Okay, but I seldom do this because it will I don't know how to say it. It's not very precise, so I cannot put my model to where I want it to be with just moving the center button here. So I usually move along axis, or I turn my view to match the place, to place the object to match the place. Okay. If I want to rotate the cube, then I hit E here. Okay, and I see a few circles here. Also, there are three different colors. I just talked about it before: the red, blue, and the green. Okay, the XYZ axis. So let's see here. Rotate XYZ. If I rotate Z along the blue lines here, okay, there's only Z axis. The properties only changes under Z axis. All right, and I can rotate it along Y axis or X axis. If you put your mouse inside of this big ring, the big circle inside here, and then left click your mouse and drag it, then you change three different axes at the same time. So it rotates in freestyle like this. Okay. You can also put numbers under channel box. For example, I highlight these three blanket, and I press 0 and hit enter. Then I put 0 into each properties here, make this cube go back to the original direction. Okay. So this is how you move, rotate, and scale object under Maya. Okay. And by the way, if you want to move your viewport, you can hold Alt and the left mouse button. Okay, it rotates your camera, so you can see different angles of the object from different angles. Okay, that's Alt and the left mouse button. And if we hold Alt and middle mouse button allows you to do tracking, track your camera. Okay, from left to right, or down to lower to upper, like this. Rotate your viewport and track your board. And if you want to zoom in or zoom out, or let's call it dolly in or dolly out. Okay, this dolly in is by press Alt and the right mouse button. It's dolly in, dolly out. You can also use your the scroll button on your mouse, to scroll it in or out. Okay. So this is very useful, and it should become your second nature, so that you can focus on modeling, and you will no longer worry about how to rotate your camera by pressing, or scale by pressing the buttons here. Okay, I mentioned it before. You should use hotkeys instead of just click the button here. It wastes your time. So, okay, so just remember those hotkeys. Will make your life easier. Okay. Oh, by the way, the selection tool is very important also. Okay. For example, we have different models here. I want to select them. I use the selection tool. The hotkey for selection tool is Q. Q for selection tool. So this is it here. The selection tool. So if you let mouse click different object, you select them. Okay. If you drag a square, you can also select everything inside your selection square. Okay, if you click left mouse click object, you select them and you hold shift. You can keep on selecting other objects. It's called add selections. Okay, and if you hold shift, you select something you have already selected before. Then we will unselect them. You will unselect them, okay? So select is the Q button, and unselect is hold shift and select them again. All right. Okay, this is the basic functions about moving your camera and scale, move, rotate your object, and also selection tool. They are very important, and so keep it in mind. All right. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you a very important step, which is create a project for your animation. This is a very important step that it will help you to keep everything organized. For example, you put your scene file in the scene folder, and you put your textures under source image folder, okay? Something like that. So let's create a project. Let's go to File and the Project window here. Then we go to the project window. And by default, the project name is default. And we can click here, a new button to create a new project. Let's name the project Maya class. Okay. Here's some rule for naming your project. For example, don't use Chinese characters or don't use numbers as the beginning of your project. For example, like this, 1, 2, 3, Maya class. Don't use that. Or don't use any codes, or I don't know how to code this. Just very strange codes like this. Don't use that as your project name. Just use English, and don't leave blank between two characters. Okay, if you want to make the project name readable, you can just use like caps, like here, big M, big C, like that. Okay, to separate two words. So I use my class as my project's name, and here is the location that you are going to put your project. Also, you don't use any Chinese characters or numbers or strange codes inside your path. Okay, so let's make it simple. Let's just put my project under D drive. So I select D drive, select, okay, and you don't need to change everything under here. Just keep it in default and keep accept. Okay, that's it. We have already created our own project. How to prove that? Okay, let's go to D drive, and here we can see my class project here. And when I go into this project, I can see the structures of the folders like that. Okay, here are some very important folders I'm going to tell you. First one is the scenes folder. This is a folder where you save your scene file, that Maya file. So every time when you click save file, it goes to your project path and the scenes folder. Okay, by default it goes to here. And the source images, here you can keep your textures here. You put your textures here, and I will always put my textures in separate folders. For example, like props textures in props folder, and the characters textures in character A, character B, character C folders, like that, to make it organized. This is very important. Okay. All right. And when you do the rendering, for example, you want to do the batch render, and it creates a lot of image sequence. The image sequence by default goes into images folder. So this three very important folders, in my opinion, in my project window. Okay. So one way to check, do I have already correctly set up my project, is I can go to Open File, and if the path direct to your project, then you have already created the project folder successfully. Okay. And next time when you close Maya and you reopen Maya, it's already direct to the project window, the project folder. I'm sorry, yeah, it has already direct to the project folder for you automatically. You don't have to create the project folder again. But if you worked on two different projects at the same time, you may have to change the direction to different projects. Okay, for example, you got project A and project B, then you have to switch between these two projects. Then you have to go to set project. Okay. Okay, for example, under the drive, I got Kent project and my class project. Okay, they are both my projects, so they have the same structures. The Kent projects got the same structures here, and the Maya class has the same structures here. And I'm going to work between these two projects, so I have to set my Maya software to different projects when I work on it. Okay, so this is how I change my project. Let's go to File, Set Project, and I go to the drive. Then I select the correct project that I want to work with. For example, I select Kent project here, and I hit Set. Click here. Okay. Now I click the Open File and check the path. Okay, direct to Kent project things. Okay, and if I want to work to another project, I just have to go to File, Set Project again, and this time I click my class, set, and let's open File. Okay, and check the path here. Okay, it goes to Maya class project. So this is how you change projects. You might do that not that often, but if you worked at home and at school, sometimes you have to bring your project to school and work at school. So if you bring your project to school and you use different computers, you may have to use this command to correctly direct your Maya to the correct project. Okay, so this is a very important knowledge for using Maya. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create our own shortcut. For example, if I want to open a Windows called Outliner window, I have to go to Window, Outliner, okay, and click it, and it opens the window. Okay, that's the traditional way to open a window under Maya, but that's a little bit time consuming if you do it a lot of times. So you want to create a shortcut for that. For example, I want to make the O as the shortcut for Outliner window because I use the Outliner window a lot. So I can go to Window, Settings, Preference, and Hotkey Editor. Under Hotkey Editor, let's go to Edit Hotkeys for Menu and select Menu Items. And here you can see there's a lot of items names here, and compare this with the comments here. It looks alike. Okay. So let's go to Windows and scroll down to here. We can see outliner window, and there is no hotkeys for that right now. Okay, let's hit O. Then a pop-out message comes out. It says the O is already assigned to Polybrush marking menus. Blah 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 blah. Okay, you don't care about that. Let's click OK. Yes, for that. Okay, so we already make O as the shortcut for outliner. Then let's hit save or save and close to close this window. And now let's hit O. Okay, we got our outline window in just a second. All right. So I will make another Windows called Hypershade. I will make another hotkey for that. So let's go to hotkey editor again and select menu items. And under Windows, and let's go to rendering editors. Okay, the rendering editors here is also under the Windows menu, rendering editors, and here we can see a Hypershade. Okay, a Hypershade command here. So here the rendering editors. When we open the rendering editors list, we can also see Hypershade window here, and let's hit H for Hypershade window. Okay, and then say yes for this message. Yes. Okay. Then save and close. And let me test it again. I hit H. Then I open the Hypershade window. Hypershade window is the interface for texturing. So we may use that in the future a lot. So I'll create a shortcut for that right now. All right, this is how you create hotkeys for some very important windows under Maya. All right, let's make a very simple robot by just using simple poly primitives and using the commands of rotate, move, and scale. And also, I'm going to show you how to group, ungroup, or duplicate groups under outline window. So let's go to poly model in shelf. And how about create a cube? Okay. Then the cube show up in the center of this word, of the grid. Okay. Then let's hit R for scaling to scale it up proportionally. And we can also scale it along x-axis like that. Then we hit W for move and drag the green arrow to move it along y-axis. So move it up. Okay. I want to make this grid as the ground. So I want to make this robot stand above the ground, stand on the ground. So let me check the proportion. For example, the robot might like that toe, like that toe. And so here is about the waist position here. Okay. Again, it's just a very simple robot, so don't expect too much. I'm just going to show you how to move things, scale things, rotate things, and duplicate group, how to organize it. Okay, in this tutorial. So let's create. How about a leg? Okay. So here I click the cylinder, I create a polygon cylinder. Then we move the cylinder up and go to left. Okay. And I want to check the shape of this robot in the front view. So I'm going to change my viewport to front view. How do I change the viewport? Well, you can just hit the blank key one time, and it split your workspace into 4 windows. And the upper right is the perspective window, all right. And the up left is the top view. Okay, the name of the camera is under here, the top view. And the lower left is the front view. Lower right is the side view of this robot. Okay. And if you want to see, for example, the front view, you move your cursor to front view window and you hit blank key again. You enlarge this window and bring you to the front view. Okay. And if you hit blank key again, it goes back to the 4 views. And then you can select another window and hit blank key to change the different viewport. All right. You can also hit the buttons at the left here to go to 4 views, and click this one to go back to one view window, the perspective window. Okay, but there's another easy way for that. You can hold blank key. Okay, hold it, and it will pop up a menus, which is called pop-up menu. Then your cursor, you always above the Maya button. So under the Maya button, you right click your mouse, then go to the second menu, and you can drag it. Still hold your blank key, don't leave it, okay, and don't release it, and drag your mouse, okay, to different directions, and we'll go to different commands. So for example, if you go to left, that's top view, and then you release your right mouse button, you go to the top view. If you go right and release your mouse button, then you go to right view. You still hold your blank key, don't forget it. And if you right click, drag down to front view and release your mouse, it goes to front view. Drag up to perspective view, release your mouse, it goes to perspective view. And now you can release the blank key, so the pop-up menu disappeared. So this is how I worked. Under my window, I always use this menu to quickly change my view. Okay, once you remember the position, it becomes your second nature. You don't have to remember it again after you use it a lot of times. Okay, just remember, you go left, you go to top view, go up to perspective view, you go to right view, and you go down to front view. All right, just very convenient. So I want to go to front view for that, so I drag to front view. Then I can correctly hit W and click that cylinder to place that cylinder at the left of the robot. Okay, and I hit R for scaling and make it longer along y-axis. Okay, drag the cube here to scale it proportionally like this. Okay, and remember, right now we just work on single side. We don't work on both sides. Okay, the right side we can just duplicate from the left side. So once we finish the left side, we just duplicate and mirror it. Okay, so here, and then I create a sphere. Move the sphere to here as the knee of the robot. I want the knee about here, so it looks like we have the leg too long. So I scale it down a little bit and move it up like this. Okay. Well. Okay, like this. All right, and I still need another leg, lower leg here, So I can just duplicate this one, which is I already finished the scale and the position, and I want to use that as the beginning of my another leg. So I select this object, okay, by left click that, and then I click Control D for duplicate, and hit W for moving. I drag it down. Okay, you can see a new model. Drag it from the old one, and we drag it down here. We can also scale it down a little bit, or make it bigger, whatever you want. Okay, like this. All right. We go up a little bit, scale it down like this. Okay. Let's go to perspective view to check it. Okay, now we got a leg like this. We still need a foot. So how about make a foot like okay, we make another sphere. We scale it up and then scale it along y-axis to make it a little bit flat like this, and make it longer, and move it to here. Okay, I might have it too big. Okay, now how about this? So we got foot. All right. Oh, by the way, if you select object and it shows up like this, like a green lines, dot, purple dots, like that, is called component mode. Okay, there are two modes under Maya, which I'll talk about later. So if you got this situation, just hit F8 one time. It might solve the problem. If it doesn't work, you hit F8 twice. Okay, then we'll go back to object mode. Then you can move the whole object. You can scale it, rotate it. Okay, like that. All right. Now we got our left leg. And let's go to Window Outliner. Also, you can hit O. Okay, to open the window. So here we got the P-cube1 for the waist of the robot, and then the upper leg, the knee, lower leg, and the foot. All right. I want to group these four models as the left leg group. Okay. So I can select them under outline window, or I can just drag a box, a selection box, and select these four models under the workspace. Okay, it will also select the models, and then I go to edit group. Okay, and keep it in mind, it's better to remember this shortcut, which is Control G for group, because you will use this a lot. So next time I'm gonna use Control G for grouping. Okay, this time just hit the command here. I group the leg, and I can double click the name under outliner, the group 1, double click it, and then type L leg. Okay, to name this leg. Okay, we got left leg. L stands for left in short. All right. Okay. Oh well, I think I need another. How about like a donut shape like this? Like scale it up. Then under the channel box here, we code it history, the structure history. Okay, the very first history of this model is how we define the shape or the structure of this shape of this model. So let's left click the poly tools here and open a menu, and then you can change the numbers here to change the settings of the default shape. For example, let's increase the radius, or you can change the section radius to make it thinner or thicker. And the subdivision axis, you can change the number here by, for example, let's change to 40. You can type the number inside the blanket and make it smoother with more numbers here. 60 is more smoother, but keep in mind, too much number will make your file big. All right, so set up the number carefully. And here's another way to change the number quickly. You can select the properties here and then go to the workspace. Middle mouse button, hold your middle mouse button and drag left and right to change the number. Okay, this is very convenient. All right, so let's just make it a belly here. Okay, let's duplicate it. Control D to duplicate and move it up a little bit. Duplicate again. Control D and do it again and again and again. Well, but it will waste a lot of time, right? So how about this? Let me delete the other 3 models. Just leave the first one. Okay, let's do Shift D for also duplicate, but you will remember how far you move this model. So when it is still selected, you just have to hit Shift D again and again, Shift D, Shift D, Shift D, Shift D, Shift D. So we'll keep building the body. Okay, the body of the robot like this. Oh, I think that's too much. And probably I can change some skills to make it much interesting. Like this. Honestly, I don't know what shape I'm going to model. We'll see. Okay. All right. How about we make hands? All right. Let's go to Polycube. Okay, and move the Polycube up and to the left. Scale it up to make the shoulder. All right, and I need another cylinder for the arm. Oh, by the way, you can click the plane here to move it along 2 axes at the same time. For example, I move it along Y and X axis at the same time, so it makes it easier to put the cylinder in the right place. Okay, let me make this longer. So far, I just added the shape under object mode. I haven't go to component mode yet, but actually, when you modeling, you actually added it under component mode. Okay, so we'll talk about it later. So don't worry. Yep, here make the upper arm longer. Okay, this time Control D and then drag it down. Control D again, drag it up a little bit and then scale it up. This. Now I want to rotate it. That is the elbow. All right, so I want to rotate it like 90 degree. But how do I rotate it just correctly 90 degrees? Well, you can see there's a properties rotate Z under channel box. So when you drag it, the number changes. So you know if you put 90 under this channel and hit enter, then you got it rotate very correctly. Right. How about this? Okay, we still need a palm. So do I do the palm? Okay, let's make a cylinder. Put it here. Rotate it also 90 degrees. And make it like this. Okay. All right. I will skip the finger part. Okay, let's go it down. All right, so this is the left hand or left arm. So also I checked a selection box to select them, and then Control G to group them. Double click the name it left hand. Left hand. So we got left leg, left hand. And how about this? This is body. So check them. Okay. So if I want to deselect something, I just have to hold Control and drag something, drag the model that I don't want to select. Okay, to unselect it. So I only select the body part and Control G, name it body. So we got 3 groups: body, okay, left hand and left leg. Okay, we need a head. All right. So create a sphere, scaled up, and then create a cone for its nose. Rotate it in 90 degree. Here, put 90, enter, and drag it out a little bit. Maybe we need let me see some special shapes under here. You can right click mouse and then check the pop-up menu. Maybe we can, how about gear? Okay, let's create a gear. And we got a gear here. But we got too much wireframe on the gear, so let's open the history and lower the lower the division, height divisions. Okay, let's put it 1. Okay, the height divisions is the divisions of along this side. So the more number, the more vertex or face you got. This is not good, so just make it 1. All right, and then they're rotated 90 degrees, and put it here as its eyes, like this. All right. It's super ugly, but it works. Okay, might make it legs longer. I just adjust it properly, proportion, slightly adjust the proportion right now to make it look better. Now I want to make another side of this robot. So first, let me select left leg, okay, and this is the pivot of this group. This is the pivot of this group, and now the pivot is under the center of the word, and this is very important. for we are going to do next. So keep the pivot here. Then we Control D to duplicate left leg group. Control D. We got left leg 1. Okay, it put the number on behind the group name. Okay, let's change the name to right leg R, like the erase the number. Okay, so we got R leg, but they're still overlap together. So we will scale it. Hit R for scaling the right leg, okay, along x-axis, and check the number here. Right now, there's the scale x, y, z. They are 1 by 1 by 1. Okay, and when you scale it along x-axis, like this, the x number changes. When it goes to 0, it becomes flat, and then when it goes to negative, it changes to another directions. All right, and then it looks more and more like the left leg until the numbers goes to -1. It becomes another leg, the right leg, and the same proportion, the same size. Okay, just different size. All right. So what's the difference? Well, it changes from positive to 1 to negative to 1. Okay. So we'll do it again for here, left hand. Let's duplicate it. Control D and name it right hand. Okay. And according to the experience we just did, we know we are going to scale it along x-axis to -1. So we just put -1 here, enter. Whoa, got another hand like this. So how about eyes? Well, the eyes, it doesn't have group. It is just a single model. We don't need group. Okay. So if you want to duplicate that, well, you can use a way to just hand moving. Okay, Control D, the eye and hand moving, eyeballing the position of the eye, like here, but it might that perfect. Okay, so if you want to do it perfectly, you can select the, let me name it left eye. Okay, you can select the left eye and then group it itself. Okay, Control G to group it. So under this group, there's only one model called left eye, but this group, okay, the pivot is in the center, so you can call it left eye again. Okay, they're under different levels, so they can use the same name. Okay, so it's also called left eye. So let's duplicate left eye. We got right eye. Let's name it the right eye, and then scale it along x-axis. Okay, then we got right eye in the exact position. All right, like this. And well, we got the robot, very ugly robot, but well, use your imagination. Okay, it's a perfect robot. All right. So finally, we're going to group everything together. Control G. Well, under outliner, you can select the first first node. Okay, we call it node. First node here, and then Shift left click the last one here. So you select them, all of them, and then Control G to group them. Be careful, don't select like this. Okay, don't select like this, because if you select like this, you select them individually. and that will avoid the group functions. So it's better to select them under aligner, and then Control G to group them. Double click the name to name it robot. Now you got a robot group. You can move all of them, rotate them. Also, you can scale them at the same time. All right, and you still got the subgroup under the main group. Okay, and name it correctly is very important, so that you will know which part is this group. Okay. All right, and then in the end, we are going to save this file. Go to File, Save File, because this is the first time we save the file, so we can click Save File, and it will pop out a window. Okay, let's name it Robot, R-O-B-O-T, Robot. And there are two different types of Maya files you can choose, but they all they are almost the same, but I like to save it as a Maya MA file. Okay, select MA, robot MA, and then it will select your file under Maya class things, and then save as. Okay, and we can keep the result of our work like this. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you the difference between object mode and component mode. Let's create a polygon sphere. Scale it up. If I hit R, like this, move it up a little bit. Okay. Right now we are under object mode, so we can select the whole object. When you're under object mode and you select object, it turns it into green wireframes like this. And you can move the whole object. You can rotate the whole object, and you can also scale it at the same time. Okay. Okay. And what if you want to add the shape? For example, I want to make it look like a face. Then how do I edit the shape? Well, let's just scale it along y-axis, make it longer like this. All right. So if I want to edit the shape, I have to go to the component mode to add the vertex, the edge, or the face of the shape. So let's select the object and then hold right mouse. Okay, under the menu there are some commands that are very important. For example, vertex. Okay, if you select vertex, it goes into vertex mode, and under vertex mode you can select each vertex by clicking single vertex, or drag a selection box to select a couple of them, and then you can move the vertex to change the shape. You can also rotate or scale it. Alright, you can select single vertex and then move the vertex and change the shape. Let's try another component. It's called edge, the edge mode. So under edge mode, I can select edges. If I hold shift, okay, I can select multiple edges and move them at the same time, edit them at the same time. If I want to select edge loop, okay, which is the continuous edges like this. If I want to select the edge loop, I just have to double click on single edge, double click it, and Maya select the edge loop for me. so I can scale it up or down like this. Okay, Control Z to undo this step. Okay, how about face mode? Under face mode, you can select face, of course. Right, and each face, when you move your mouse above the face become like this, lighter. I don't know how to call that. Okay, so it's ready to be selected. Then you left click it to select the face, and you hold shift to select another face, another. By holding shift, you select multiple face. Okay, and then you can edit them. Here's one thing very important for me. I don't like the face mode to look like this. I always want to see the center of the face. So how about let's change the preference for that. All right. So please go to Windows, Settings, Preference, and Preference. Under Selection, let's go to Selection here. Under Selections Preference, there's one thing here. It's Polygon Selection. Select face width. By default, it goes to whole face, which is like this, the whole face. But I don't like the selection mode like this. I like to show the center of the face, like that. Okay, like this. So each face contains a dot in the center. So every time when I move my mouse to this dot, okay, and then I click the dot, it select the face. Well, it makes me easier to select the face instead of the default mode. Okay, let me save the settings here. So next time when I go to face mode, I can see the center of face. It also makes me easier to check some problems like overlapping face, or some face without any thickness. You'll see that in the future. I'll show you. So I suggest to use this mode. Okay. So again, this is component mode. It contains vertex mode, edge mode, face mode, and also UV, but it's about texturing, so we might not talk about it right now. Alright, so just keep in mind vertex mode, edge mode, and face mode. If you want to go back to object mode, you can drag your mouse to upper right here to go back to object mode, and release your mouse button to go back to object mode. So now we are under object mode again. I can rotate it, okay? But I can no longer change the shape right now. If I want to change the shape, I have to go back to component mode. So let's go to vertex mode, okay? And let's see here, the lower left side of the workspace. There are three little small dimensions here. Green stands for y-axis, red stands for x-axis, and Z stands for z-axis. Blue stands for z-axis. I'm sorry. Okay. And I always want the positive z-axis as the front directions of my face. So my nose should point to the positive z-axis. So let me select the vertex here, move this vertex to make it a nose like this. All right. And let me select these two vertex and move it back to make it looks like an eye. All right, and select these two vertex. Also move it back a little bit. Like this. So I can also select face, say face mode, and then select here Take the mouse and drag it back. Okay. We can go to side view. Go to right view. Drag box here to move the gel out a little bit. Go back to and this scale the along axis. Hit F8 to go back to object mode. Okay, now we got a face. Of course, you can still go back to right view and edit mode to edit the component, make it shorter. Still move the vertex to shape the head more detail. But okay, let's just just make the shape like this so far. So this is how I change the mode between object mode and the component mode, and how component mode works. The vertex, edge, and face.